But all right, man, yeah, welcome back to eDraft.com's coverage of the 2015 Senior Bowl. We are here with Jordan Hicks, big-time recruit coming out of high school, Texas alum here. Tell me what this process has been like so far for you, because I can tell you, for me personally, I've been going nonstop for the past 48 hours. I can't imagine what's going, your guys' schedule so far, just 2 days in.
It's been the same way, man. It's, we're continuing to have something after another, and, they're trying to get us ready for what to expect. They're trying to get us in that environment.
Right.
And, because you're not going to have much downtime. You're going to be in meetings, once, twice a day, practice to meetings to, expected to doing more.
Right.
So, downtime, haven't had much.
Well, I think about that a lot. You guys get thrown into the fire right away. I mean, you got guys coming in, 48 hours ago. They didn't even know they were going to be playing in this stuff. What do the coaches do as far as getting you guys prepared and not trying to overwhelm you guys with the playbook? Right.
Well, there's only so much you can do at a game like this, at an All-Star game, and so the playbook is limited, at least on our side, which is exactly the simple stuff, But there's only so much you can do. At the same time, you want to master it, and you want to get it down as well as possible, and speak the same terminology as these coaches. And you go home, you go back into your room at 11, 12 o'clock at night after a long day, and you study what you need to study, and you get you got to do what it takes. This is the point in time where it's important.
It's go time, right?
Exactly. It's important.
It's great that you're aware of that too, right? Because things are happening so fast that sometimes you wake up and all of a sudden, holy shit, it's over. I wish I could have went back and done this.
Right.
Obviously, you're well prepared here this year, and a lot of people think that you guys come down here just to showcase your skills, right? For scouts and coaches, but I mean, you guys get to work with NFL coaches.
Absolutely.
Too.
You learn a lot.
Tell me what that experience is like, and have you learned anything specifically already, maybe technique-wise from any of these coaches?
The biggest thing is using hands, for me.
Okay.
And I've the whole time I've been getting coached on how to use my hands and different things like that. And it's been a great experience so far. It's only first practice, and I've already learned some stuff, and it's been good. It's been really good. It's a great experience.
It's funny because you came in here and everybody knew you were speed to power, great fundamental tackler, and then we do the height weight, and it doesn't matter who it is or what they come in at, but you hear some scouts around you go, oh, he can't put his hand in the dirt, or he's got to stand up and play 4-3, 3-4. And you haven't even played it down yet, right?
Right.
Kind of humorous, but from a schematic standpoint, what personally do you think is the best way to maximize your skill set?
In my opinion, I would be the wheelbacker in both a 3-4 and a 4-3 defense. That outside backer in a 4-3, and then playing it a little bit more inside in the 3-4. And that's me being able to run and use my instincts, to go make plays.
You bet. I know that. Your senior year, 93 tackles, I think 9.5 tackles for loss, a couple sacks in there. Before that, though, a little injury-riddled career, right? Is that something that you wanted to come here to prove to a lot of people that you are 100% healthy? Or I guess I should say, are you 100% healthy at this point? And
100%. Yeah, absolutely 100%. My last injury was my Achilles in 2013, and I learned a lot from that, man. It's tough to go through two season-ending injuries in a row, and it does a lot to your mind, and you've got to be tough to push through that. And coming into this season, I knew there was a lot of pressure, a lot of pressure to perform and to lead our team. With a brand new coaching staff, not being able to play, and I think it was I missed 9 games in 2013 season. It'd been a long time since I played football, and just the ability to go out there and perform was a blessing within itself, and to be here, was awesome. It's absolutely awesome.
You brought up a great point as far as the mental game goes.
Right.
I mean, not only football, but a lot of people say life is just more mental than anything. How much stronger do you think you got mentally to overcome those injuries and just to go through all the challenges that you did to get where you're at right now?
Right. And it's been a complete learning experience for me, both on the field and off the field, in these past 5 years. And I think that's why I value going to Texas so much, because I have learned so much over these past 5 years that you can't take that. That's something you can't take away from me. And in my opinion, I've been through more than the average college football player has. Whether I've learned from it. I've obviously I'm not perfect. I've made mistakes. I've done a lot of things, but I continue to learn, continue to grow from both injuries, off the field, whatever it is. I pride myself in not making the same mistake twice. And that's something that's I think is key in life.
I'm 1,000% with you. In fact, I've heard a lot of coaches, when I've spoke to them, say these kids are going to make mistakes. These guys are going to make mistakes, right? That's life.
Right.
It's a new setting. I want to know how they respond to that.
Right.
I want to know, how they actually react to getting maybe some harsh treatment,
right.
And things like that.
Absolutely.
It sounds like so far so good with you on that aspect.
Right.
Your collegiate career. I mean, Texas is one of the most prolific football schools in history, right? Now that the dust has settled a little bit here, and I'm not sure if you've even had a chance to kind of reflect on those years in college, but if you have, what's one or two memories that are always going to be with you when you think back to your college football days?
Definitely the A&M game.
Oh yeah.
That was something special. Being able to win that game is definitely, if anybody who was there that's probably one of their top memories of their experience at Texas. And secondly, I'd say that entire senior season, with Coach Strong, and just like I've told you, being able to overcome and just everything, exactly, and everything coming together. It felt like things came together. Obviously, we didn't finish the way we wanted to. Definitely not Texas standard, but defensively wise, as a unit, we came together a lot and had fun while we were out there, and knew each other on more than just a teammate, but we were brothers out there, and we worked for it.
You talk about brothers, right? It's a brotherhood in that locker room. Malcolm Brown just declared for the draft. We've got Quandre Diggs around here, floating around here somewhere. How much do you keep in contact with those guys now that your college career's over? And do you guys feed off each other? Have you guys helped each other, work out together?
Yeah.
What's that relationship like?
Constantly talking. We're in group text.
Awesome.
Now that iPhones got group text, we're constantly chatting with each other, sending each other stupid things that everybody thinks is funny. Exactly. It's who we are. It's who we'll always be. We're all pursuing the same goal. At the end of the day, we're all trying to be as best as we can, and whichever route we take, it's everybody's different, and we understand that. But what's brought us really together is what we've gone through at the University of Texas.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool thing to share that together. Looking back one more time at your college career, I had Martrell Spade here just 5 minutes ago. He said one of the toughest guys to bring down for him in that SEC was Nick Chubbs from Georgia. Give me one or two guys that stick out for you that say, man, I'm glad I don't got to tackle this guy. I'm glad I don't have to go up against
I'll tell you what. Yeah, well, I think, in my opinion, I think Samaje Perine from Oklahoma is going to be a beast when he gets older. My opinion.
Not a lot of name recognition yet.
Yeah, it's getting there.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, he had a few breakout games, and you can see it in him. You can see it in him. There's gonna be some good rivalries at that OU Texas game.
So keep an eye out for that.
Absolutely. Future.
I guess bringing it back to the current standpoint, I know you've only been out there one day, but maybe one or two guys that might at the end of the week say, yeah, this guy gave me a lot of trouble this week.
I think Casey Pierce from Kent State. I think he immediately stood out to me because of his hands, his ability to run routes, one-on-ones and stuff. He was making great plays, and then, I think this whole offensive line is pretty good. Pretty good. It's fun. It's fun to get out here and compete, man. It's a lot of fun, and when you get to go against the best in the country, there's nothing like it.
It brings out the best in everybody,
exactly,
right?
Exactly.
And you kind of answered my next question. It sounds like you're specifically having a lot of fun personally. I was just curious about, I guess, the mindset or energy for everybody when you come into it's a big event, man.
Right.
It
is.
Coaches, scouts, they're all right here, right? And right away were people kind of uptight, walking on eggshells, or are you starting to get to that point now where you're starting to have fun and it's a game, man.
Right.
You're starting to play this game.
It's getting there for sure. You know, you get there and immediately thrown in the fire, like you said.
Yeah.
You know, day one, you're having interviews and taking tests and things that people are gonna really look at.
Yeah.
You know, and base you off of, and you know where your scores matter. So, you know, it's been a you know, these past 48 hours have been busy, very busy. But you know, the mindset you have to have is something like this is just, you know, be yourself. You know, understand that you're here for a reason. You know, and you know, I know a lot of these guys. A lot of these guys know each other either through training, through college, playing against each other. You know, whatever it may be, through high school. I'm not, you know, whatever it may be.
Far down the rabbit hole.
Exactly. You know, and you know, when you're here with people that you know and can relate to, and you know, like I said, we're all in the same goal. We're all in it for one reason, and that's to make it to the next level.
Lawrence Taylor, people think what? Boom, you know, just a beast, sack master, right? You know, people think, you know, big buck kiss, you know, got the eyes going, right? Mm-hmm. When it's all said and done for Jordan Hicks, what do you want people to think when they hear that name?
Aggressive athlete, somebody who never gave up, continued to push, great leader, character never questioned. You know, I want to be known as more than just a football player. You know, I want to be known as a guy who did the right things, you know, off the field. You know, who was good to people, who was good to the community. You know, I think there's a bigger purpose, you know, to this than just playing football, in my opinion. You know, and you know, I try to. It's hard to get to. It's easy to lose that mind frame, you know, and especially when you're so engulfed in a situation like this. But you know, when you've got good people around you, and you know, you've been, you know, and you're able to keep that mindset, you know, it just frees you. It frees you from a lot of things.
I mean, everybody here, including yourself, 3-4 years of film, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, nobody's draft stock's really going to sway one way or the other for just 1 week.
Right.
But I think what a lot of coaches and scouts really try to dig up is the character, is the off-the-field stuff. What kind of person they're getting if they draft this guy.
Right.
You know, just speaking with you for 5 minutes, I can tell your head's on straight. You know what you need to do, and I can tell, football or not, you've got a bigger plan and a bigger purpose. I'm just excited for you, man.
Thank you. I really do appreciate that.
I'm rooting for you, and I think you got big things ahead of you.
I do appreciate that.
And I'm excited, man. I hope you can sit back a little bit and try to enjoy this process.
That's what I'm trying to do. That's what I'm trying to do. I know it's already Tuesday. Got here on Sunday. It's already Tuesday. It's going by fast.
It's going quick, and then what? You know, you get out of this, and then you got to what? Go get ready
less
for the pro day.
Less than a month. Yeah, less than a month. You're in the combine, and it's boom, 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 and
that's it. And then the dream comes true. Hey, last one. What's the first thing you're gonna buy when you get that NFL paycheck?
Buy. Goodness gracious. I'm thinking about saving. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking about saving.
That's the best.
I'm telling you.
How about, you don't buy anything for yourself, which is great.
My mother.
Right?
That's the first person I'm buying something for.
That's what I was
you know, I think whatever she wants. I want to make her. You know, she's done so much for me. You know, I'm gonna. It's my plan in my future to free her. You know, and she's worked so hard.
Love to hear that.
And you know, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for her. So you know, I have to get back. You know, it's my responsibility. You know, and you know, obviously through love and you know, that relationship.
And I can feel it, man. You're not just saying that.
Yep.
I mean, you truly mean it.
I do.
And,
I do.
I can't wait for you to do that. You know, it's sooner than later, and I'm excited to watch you on Sundays.
Thank you very much.
And like I said, hope you enjoy the rest of this process.
Thank you.
Everybody on eDraft.com, Jordan Hicks, Texas linebacker. Wish you the best, man. Thanks
Appreciate
it.
Thank you very much.
It.
Absolutely.